speaking to Jamie Elson ahead of a tough-looking weekend. Jamie, how do you pick the boys up after last weekend?
I think we just Saturday night we actually we feel like we did enough to win a game. Disappointed because our third period wasn't good enough by a long stretch, and it's tough because we'd put ourselves in a good spot. At the end of 40, we're 4-3 up, and the mood in the room was really good, and the guys were positive. So yeah, we know we let ourselves down, and the guys were disappointed with how we performed in the third. So but before that, the 2 weekends, the 4 games before, we've been building, playing some hockey that is more what we want to do, and so we know we've got it in the tank. We just have to, we have to find a way now to bounce back. It's 2 games that we wanted to win against, a team that we were close to, but it's done. We have to draw a line under that. We have to realise where we weren't good enough this weekend, and move forward into what's a tough 2 games this weekend.
You start off against Peterborough. They come in good form. They're third in the table. They've done a number on you twice. What have you learned from those 2 games?
We've learned that they're a good hockey team. All Slavs teams are good hockey teams. They've got a real obviously core of guys that have been there a long time. They know how to play. Slava plays. They play very different to any other team in the league, and I think that's the big thing. I think that style of play in the last game here. The last game here is probably our worst game of the year in terms of performance, I feel. But how they played really just carved us open. So, we're going back watching that this week, trying to make some changes to maybe how we're going to face them on Saturday night, because they really do play a very different style. So, yeah, we have to be mindful of that. But, I know they've got, 1D man away with GB20s, but like us with Jacob, maybe some guys out. Same as we're going to, but up front, that they're deep up front. They've got some real legit goal scoring. So we have to be smart, and I think the lesson from last weekend is the discipline has to be way better. Saturday night we shot ourselves in the foot with way too many penalties, and you just can't be constantly killing penalty kills, hoping to win a game. And Peterborough will be no different.
Sunday is a trip to Hull, a team that again you've lost both games to, but they were far closer. You've given a good account of yourselves, beaten a very good, or put a lot of pucks past a good netminder, Jordan McLaughlin. What do you take from those 2 games?
Yeah, I think from the 2 whole games we were bitterly disappointed both nights that we didn't come up with the wins. Both of those games, we were winning, and in the third period find a way to lose games. So I think that will give us confidence that we know we've generated offense on them both nights. But goals against is key. That's where we lose games, and over that stretch of 4 games, we were much better defensively, and that gave us a chance to win points. And that's what we got to get back to. We've kind of got too open last weekend, and we need everyone back on board this week. But yeah, I think the whole games showed that we can compete. But yeah, this league's good this year. And Hull and Peterborough, 2 really good teams that, if we give them too much time and space, and our compete levels aren't right, and our mentality's not right, they're strong teams that are going to punish us. So we have to go into the weekend ready to go.
The fixture against Hull, they play on Friday night, have Saturday off, and then play Sunday. Do you think that's a big advantage that they have 2 home games and they have the day off in between?
Yeah, probably. It's a little bit different when you play that Friday night, but we talk about it all the time. The turnaround from Saturday night to Sunday is tough, and they're a team that's normally on the road on a Saturday and traveling back. So when they're playing on a Sunday night, they're normally getting back in the early hours after battling on a Saturday night, where they're going to have that 24-hour rest period. So I think that schedule works better for them. But it is what it is. We have different weekends where some teams play 3, some teams play 2. You meet a team that only plays once, so we can't stress about that. But I think that's a more favourable sort of setup for them for this weekend for sure.
And finally, you announced the signing of Kyle Pow. What do you think he adds to the roster?
Yeah, he's going to give us some depth and some cover here at the moment. While Nick's still out the lineup, Max has been doing a great job, and we're keen for Max to still be involved. But Max isn't available for all games, and Kyle was actually down here recently having a bit of a skate with us, so we could take a look at him. And he gives us something different. He's become available at a time where we've got a heavy schedule coming up over Christmas, to actually have the extra body in the cover. will be huge, and it gives us some versatility because he's a D man. We've got some options with Max as a forward. He obviously brings in a ton of size and presence. Plays hard, shut down D. He's got a long stick. It's going to be hard to play against on the small ice. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, we're excited to kind of get him into the lineup and get him out. When he was here the other week, he got on really well with the guys in the room and started to get to know the boys. So yeah, we had a good feel for him. So yeah, we're excited to kind of see what he adds. Like I said, something different. Defensively, we're trying to be way better. And we've talked about that. That's how we've won some games recently. So to have a big body and a defensive presence like that, someone who's really hard to play against, will only help.
All right, cheers, Jamie.
Thanks.